Any thoughts, questions, or comments, chastisements? Yes, Hadai Pranpam.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhu, for the class. I was reading this morning about there's this book, Bhakti Vinod, Vani Vaibhav, or one of these books, and then it was also describing about the Upper Sampradayas, and you brought up a nice point about some Upper Sampradayas. They kind of disguise themselves as pure teachings of Lord Chaitanya, of Saki Bekis and all that. They're promoting religiousness, but actually they're actually leading to degradation. So I was just wondering that and you were talking about externals and internals, that sometimes we may get the externals right, dhoti, tilak and all this, but our internal, we actually may be quite far away. So the basic question I had was, sometimes if we don't have the internal right, we actually may be having the same conclusions as these Upper Sampradayas. So how do we kind of guard ourselves against these kind of deviations that we may be watering the plant per se, but actually we may be watering the weeds, and we're thinking it's the plant. How do we protect against that?
There has to be thorough education about this, how to differentiate the weeds from the actual kripa of bhakti. In this information age, and in this thirst for more and more knowledge, more and more subtle, higher knowledge. So the devotees are reading and hearing from so many different personalities. That is like running out of the safety net that Srila Prabhupada has created. So if one doesn't thoroughly become acquainted with how Krishna consciousness is to be performed and understood from our own acharya, then we may run this risk of cultivating Krishna consciousness, having heard from individuals who have these deviant tendencies. Because it is difficult to understand who is a Vaishnava and who is not. Vaishnavira Kriya Mudra Na Bhujaya. What to speak of these who are very much externally showing devotion, crying, rolling on the ground. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, of a famous devotee, that it was said he is always chanting Gauranitai, 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 Gauranitai. And everyone thought, oh, what a powerful devotee. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said, he has no devotion to Gauranitai. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta is traveling in Vrindavan on Parikram, and he says that he's so unfortunate. After all this Vrindavan Parikram, he has not met one Vaishnava. And so devotees start giving names. What about this Baba? He's foaming at the mouth, chanting Harinam. And he's lamenting, I have not met one single Vaishnava. So, unless we are taking shelter of, higher Vaishnavas, it can be difficult to determine who is in the line. Because others may be practicing something else. So, if it's not according to our acharya, then it's a disturbance. It pains the heart of those Vaishnavacharyas. So the discussion of these upper sampradayas is important. This Maharaj wrote a nice book, Suhotra Swami, discussing the different upper sampradayas. So we have to acquaint ourselves so we can spot the deviation. And also we have to really take shelter of Srila Prabhupada's books and teachings. It is not fanaticism to be a blind follower of Srila Prabhupada. At least the attitude should be there that, what do I know? What I know is what Srila Prabhupada is presenting. Of course, Srila Prabhupada has said we should surrender with intelligence, not surrender our intelligence. So we interact with what Prabhupada is saying intelligently. We don't blindly accept, we question, but we also understand that he is the one that is connecting us in line of disciplic succession. So we can understand the culture through him and his sincere followers.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So you mentioned that pastime where Gadadhar Pandit goes to the house of his guru, this Pundarka Vidyadini. I've heard this Vidyadini. Yeah, I've heard this pastime before, but I've never understood exactly why it is that that this Vaishnava was living in this opulent way. I mean, we understand with Cardamom Muni, for example, he was doing this. He was living in a very opulent lifestyle and traveling around in this mansion and enjoying. But that was because of his service. He was assigned to be a progenitor. So, in that connection, why was this Vaishnava living so opulently? Like, what was his reason for doing that?
Well, the devotees are all playing their part within the Leela of the Lord. And they all have different moods and flavors. So Pundarik, he wanted to hide his exalted Krishna consciousness. And his way of hiding was to present himself as a materialist. It is said also Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was desiring reunion with Pundarik Vidyanidhi, so he was chanting. It was Pundarik, Pundarik, Baba, Pundarik, Baba. So devotees were confused. Who is Pundarik? So they were speculating, maybe it's the name of Krishna, of course, Pundarik, but this must be a personality. Who is this personality? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was telling them his very special personality. You will not be able to recognize him. But he's very dear to me because in Krishna Lila he is the father of Srimati Radharani. And so Mahaprabhu, Radha, Bhava, Jyoti, Suvaditam, Naumi Krishna Sarupam. He's in that mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so Pundarik, by the Lord meditating on him, somehow he found himself attracted. I should go to Navadvip. But anyway, he's Vrishabhanu Maharaj, so he's opulent. So that sort of carried through into Chaitanya Leela. And that also gave him a cover from the upstarts, Babaji Maharaj is living in a toilet. And he says the smells of the lavatory are much better than the smells of the material desires of the people who come to him. So in one sense, his previous position in Leela, that opulence, and also as a way to just not be detected and bothered. Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanande. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Gaur Hai.